BareBow archery refers to shooting a bow without sights attached to the riser. Aiming is done by using the tip or point of the arrow as the front sight. The bow with any attachments must fit through a 12.5 centimeter ring. The rear sight is based upon anchor and string alignment. String walking or occasionally face walking are used to adapt to distance changes. The high end of aiming techniques involve sights and stabilizers as seen in Olympic recurves. Accuracy and precision are seen at distances of 70 meters. The other end is the traditional or instinctive shooter. No sights or stabilizers. Aiming occurs through muscle memory and repetition, like throwing a ball. This technique is common in hunters and exhibition shooters. Distances are commonly less than 18 meters or 20 yards. Over time, many archers became impatient or unsatisfied with the time and limitations of traditional aiming without wishing to move all the way to Olympic recurve. Traditional techniques gave way to point of aim and gap shooting. In point of aim, an object or position below the target is aimed at with the point of the arrow. Gap shooting uses a similar technique but concentrates on the apparent gap between aiming point and the target. The gap and point of aim are distance and terrain dependent. Eventually, these techniques evolved into string walking or barebow. This has become one of the most popular categories in archery over the last decade or so. With string walking, a three-finger grip below the nocking point is used. Distance to target adjustments are made by moving the grip up and down the string. Accuracy up to 50 yards is common. This specific elements of barebow aiming relate to the front sight, rear sight, and cant of the bow. The distance of the finger tab or glove placement from the nock is determined through trial and error. Raising the grip or crawl raises the arrow hit on the target. Lowering the crawl lowers the arrow hit. Consistency is obtained by counting threads in the serving. Finger widths below the nock are marks on a tab. For the finger tab, the tab is placed against the nock. The crawl is marked with a thumbnail, and the tab is lowered into place. Permanent marks on the serving is not allowed in competition. Numbering systems are also forbidden. The closer the target, the greater the string walk or crawl, and the lower on the string will be the grip. With a well-spined arrow, the point is placed just below dead center for the front sight. Care is taken not to completely obscure the target center. Front sight accuracy is dependent on a consistent anchor and consistent crawl. The typical anchor is at the corner of the mouth, often touching the upper eye tooth, third from the front, or the interval between the third and fourth. Many archers prefer to anchor under the chin at the corner of the jaw. A jaw anchor will require a larger crawl, but allows greater distances before the gap closes onto the nock. A few archers will anchor at the cheekbone. A combination of string walking and face walking is occasionally seen. The rear sight is dependent on the anchor and the string relation to the arrow point. The string is visible as a blur in the line of sight. Most people like the string just to the right, right-handed archers, of the arrow point. The exact positioning is dependent on dynamic spying. The third element is often overlooked. This is the cant of the bow. Canting has two effects on aim. Canting the bow to the right, clockwise, moves the arrow nock to the left. This moves the arrow trajectory to the right. This also alters the vertical component of arrow flight. These two factors affect the lateral and to a lesser extent the vertical contact with the target. If you always shoot the same cant at the same distance, you will not notice this effect. However, changing cant or distance will bring to light this problem. This effect can be calculated with a little trigonometry and differential calculus. I'll spare you the formulas. An example is provided based upon a 29-inch arrow fired at 20 yards on a 40-centimeter target. A 7/8 inch crawl with a mouth anchor is assumed. Canting the bow from 0 to 3 degrees will move you from the center 10 ring to the 7 ring, approximately 7 centimeters. 5 degrees will get you 12 centimeters. 7 degrees will get you 17 centimeters. And 10 degrees will get you 24 centimeters. You just missed the target. Even with a 120 centimeter target, the big one, 10 degrees cant, will still put you into the 6 ring. If you made it to the end, congratulations are in order. As always, I hope you found this helpful and entertaining. This is an addendum to my video on bow tuning. Please check it out if you haven't already. Thanks for your time and your attention.